pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here. Angela? Yes. Stephanie? Yes. Kelly? Yes. Carol?
Yeah.
Jen? Yes.
All right, now I'm just going to give a short shout out to appreciate all of the residents showing up to both elections and recognizing we have a problem. I hope now we can move forward in a positive fashion with everybody here working together. And once again, I just really appreciate you guys showing up. And I'm going to move for a motion to go into executive session, invite everyone here at the table, and it was me to hire personnel. And I would also ask when you exit for executive session, we did put soundproof panels on the other side of the door. It does muffle better, but I would prefer everybody go into the office and to the left of Amy's desk, not in front of, not behind of, and spread out through the office. So, move for a motion to go into executive session to hire personnel.
Make a motion, yes.
I said it, sorry. This is my mom.
Make a motion.
She made a motion.
Make the motion.
Jenny? Yes.
And also, Mr. Finoli and Cole are invited.
Stephanie? Yes. Jenny? Angela? Yes.
Yes.
I know, I'm sorry.
Just to make a quick statement, the comments that the mayor just made, we were always able to work together. It was just the mayor didn't want to work with who was on council,
Yep.
in my opinion.
Yes. All right, I'd like to move for a motion to rescind ordinance 2025-8, which was the solicitor's ordinance to honor his contract, which we have severed. So I move for a motion to rescind that 2025-8.
Are you gonna make that an emergency? Otherwise, you need to do 3 readings for moving ordinance too.
Move for a motion to declare an emergency.
And an emergency needs 3/4 vote. So you know, because you're not aware of the law. Okay?
Move for a motion to suspend the rules, declare an emergency, to rescind ordinance 2025-8.
Yeah,
What?
I told us.
They're trying to get rid of the ordinance that's in place, which has
You
the
don't wanna
same
make the
rules.
motion?
Oh, I guess I'll make the motion.
Which is the
I
same rules
lost my
passing
place.
ordinance.
But does that mean that he's still a solicitor or not?
I guess it's the solicitor.
Oh, okay. Well, that-
I'll second.
that was the question, so.
Yeah, if they're trying to remove the ordinance, they admit that he's still a solicitor.
Jenny?
too.
No. Stephanie? No. Angela? No. Jeff?
Yes.
That's a tie.
Yes.
Which still doesn't equal 3/4, so it fails.
Move for a motion to hire Marshall William Finelli and his law firm to represent the village as legal counsel. And then sign a binding contract
I'll make the
for
motion.
1 year.
I'll make the motion.
Can we have somebody look at that contract, or then just the council for, like, minutes. I mean, by Wayne staff.
I didn't see anything in here about severing this contract if we need to either. I know we had one a couple weeks.
I can answer that question briefly. I know we're not in executive. There are certain rules of ethics as an attorney that a client is free to terminate their relationship with me, whether it be a villager or a person. They're free to terminate that relationship with me. So
That's true. So we had it in the ordinance on the last
and
one.
if that's personal preference of Mr. Fulkins, I guess I don't want to get too into the weeds on that side of things. But again, if there's something you want to see in a contract, that was just an initial proposal I brought with me. I'm willing to tailor that to the needs of council. This is the first time I've been able to meet and discuss that proposal. So,
And we would like that written up so your term expires at the end of January of the following, not in December of.
okay. I think I tried to time it, again, I do most of mine on a yearly basis, so I could adjust that accordingly if need be. And should council choose to enter into a contract, I would certainly supply the appropriate resolution to encompass that if needed, but
So you need a motion for notifying of being able to do that?
Are you satisfied?
I would personally like to see something in here if we want to turn, like how we did in the last one, in the last ordinance. And I don't know if Amy has that available right offhand, of how it stated.
I could pull the
That-
ordinance there.
Yeah, it stated basically the mayor was not a tiebreaker, it was up to the council, and we still did it. So that's why there's some wishy-washy about severing the last one.
and I wouldn't want to get too deep in the weeds on that because until I'm hired to be legal counsel, I don't want to be providing legal advice of a public meeting.
So move for a motion to hire Mr. Finelli and his firm, providing some amendments to the contract.
From going from February 26th to January 27th? Is that what you wanted?
I would
Carry
like
it
to-
over to
yes,
the next month?
Carry it over.
Do you think we should see that before we say yes to it? I don't know what the other papers, I'm the one saying. Should we just trust what he's gonna put on the contract and say that, or want to see it before we say yes?
Well, I would like to have it in writing, but I know the mayor's wanting to fast track everything.
Could you take that back to your office?
I think that would be appropriate, just
Tailor
given,
that.
and again, I wasn't anticipating necessarily that it'd be just signed right here tonight. I wanted a proposed template, just at least so to kind of get an idea of what our offer would be. I would also note that obviously, Mr. Worth is the managing partner, so he'd be the one who'd actually sign and approve. So obviously, anything I put as a proposal to you guys, I want to make sure that he also is on board with that. So if there's any amended notes that someone wants to email me with, we'd like to see A, B, C, and D added, be happy to make those edits, and it also would give time between this meeting and the next meeting for anybody on council to review those proposed edits, and then you can deal with that and add that to your agenda accordingly. I think that's, to me, that makes me more comfortable before you make anything else to that. So I'll let you keep that copy. If somebody wants to follow up with some proposed edits, I can get that circulated to you, and then I'll wait to hear back. All right?
I appreciate you being
Thank you.
forthcoming.
Appreciate all your time here today.
All right, so we'll move on here, move for a motion to forego the reading of the January 12th minutes.
So moved.
Second?
Second. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Angela.
Stephanie?
Yes.
Shelley?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
Move for a motion then to accept the January 12th minutes as written.
Did you find any other issues with it, Brian?
I did not.
Did you reread it after she sent it out again?
I just felt like.
There's nothing wrong with it because he didn't reread it.
Move for a motion to accept the January 12th minutes as written.
Second.
Angela? Yep. Shelley? Yes. Carol?
Yeah.
Move for a motion to pay the bills.
So moved. Second.
Jeff?
Yes.
Stephanie?
Yes.
Shelley?
Yes.
Moving on to the resident guest concerns, we're going to start with Andy Fisher, who is here for Hancock Wood, so he can get out of here.
Well, thanks, everybody. So, appreciate it. Thanks for having me back again. I'm always delighted to see how full this room is. It definitely is warm every time. So, I guess I was asked to speak on a couple things. The very first one is I was asked about our disconnects and if we'd come over and help. So, the short answer is yes, we would. Obviously, that will fall under our mutual aid agreement that we have since 2019. The village has a copy of that, and it's basically time and material to come over and do that. So, as long as it stays cordial, we'll have the guys come over, but sometimes that can get a little hostile. So, we would be in favor if it got that way and stopped coming over and help. It's always nice when we come over and turn the power back on, but sometimes it's not very friendly when we turn it off. So we kind of mitigate that risk at Hancock Wood with our remote disconnect meters, but unfortunately, we wouldn't have that option over here. So I guess, is there any questions from the council regarding that?
I have one question.
Sure.
And you haven't done it lately or have not come over here to do that lately, right? I mean, since
I would hate to
2019? Yeah.
hate to say I'm not involved in your invoicing and stuff like that, but
My question, because
Sure.
I'm the one that talked
Yes.
to you on the phone.
Yep.
And I was surprised how you said, well, we don't wait 6 months or so, we shut them off in 2.
yeah.
Would
So
you highly recommend that then? So there's not
that's
so
what-
much hostility?
Well, that's what we do at Hancock Wood, just because, right? I mean, that's how we pay our bills, through the rate base. So, that's in our terms and conditions. We have a disconnect policy that our board of trustees. So that would be up to, the utility here on what that, what that best is. I would hate to make a recommendation, for you guys. So, but whatever you guys feel is appropriate that the town can handle.
Thank you.
Good question, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, I'll review what I did when I was here last time, and that is possibly add an electronic recloser at your metering point. Again, I was asked to provide this, by Mark. As far as I know, you were provided an alternate proposal by AMP Ohio. But essentially the scope of the work is if you know where the metering point is out here on 254, the scope of the work would be to add some sort of electronic device there. That way we could come in. We have certain safety standards that our guys have to work towards, and it needs to have one-shot capability. The only one-shot capability, and what I mean by that is if there's a fault, it turns off in that one click. Currently, the only actual protection, and you guys seen this on your last outage, is up there off of 262, is it 214 or 216? 216 AEP has a set of 3 hydraulic reclosers there. So they operate in singular, independent of each other. The device that you should get, and if you were getting a delivery point today, you'd have to put what's called a 3-phase electronic device there. It's an electronic control device, so a computer, and it would give some flexibility. What it does is it would allow to decide if you want it single phase through the village or 3-phase. Shutting off, a lot of times when you have 3-phase industrial type load in the village or on that feeder, you're going to want to shut it all off, all the phases off, because single phasing like the school or RPM or any of your other 3-phase customers is very bad for them. So that's why, one of the reasons you should have it, but the other reason would be for our protection coming in. We can't work on anything energized in the village, so our guys, if they come in here for an outage situation or to replace a pole, we're most likely going to have to shut the village off to do that. If there's an electronic device there that we can put on one shot that meets our safety protocols, then we can assist with that. It's totally up to you guys. It is expensive, but it definitely is a good thing to have. If it was connected to Hancock Wood, we would put it into our SCADA system. I know I got a call on the last time the village was single phased. We would be able to know that from our dispatch center, if you were out or not, as well as put on that protection for ourselves from the confines of our office there in North Baltimore. So the other, I did get an opportunity to look at the other proposal for AMP. They're essentially providing the same thing. It's just not a device that we have anything to do with, so we wouldn't even have any spare parts or anything like that to help you out if something were to go awry. So you can always yourself hire an independent electrical engineer and hire a contractor if you want to spearhead it yourself. That's totally an option as well. So, but just figured I was asked to come and talk about it again. And if there's any questions in regards to that, I'd be happy to address them.
So would there have been a possibility to do the proposals exactly the same? Should we have had the specs for AMP Ohio the same as the specs we requested from you? I'm just asking your opinion. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, you can't really get an idea if you're comparing apples and oranges. I'm questioning why it wasn't apples to apples or oranges to oranges.
Well, you know, I was just asked to provide what we utilize, so, you know, it's very hard unless you're in this industry to have unless you go out to an engineer and have them basically create an RFP or RFQ.
But somebody like Vaughn Electric would have an engineer that could also.
So they actually hire out their, you know, engineering.
Well, I mean, essentially that's what we're doing too.
Yeah, so, well, you're not hiring it because you got mine for free. But the reason we can't do it internally is because there's liability, right? So at Hancock Wood, we don't need to be a professional engineer to engineer for our own stuff. Just like if you had somebody at the village, wouldn't need to be a professional engineer to engineer for your own utility. But I can't, that's why in the proposal there's an engineering fee from Encompass Engineers, is because we can't, and we don't want to be involved with the protection settings and all of that stuff, because going and doing the work based off of scope of work and proper engineering, which I'm confident in that group, I have no problem with. But we, Hancock Wood engineering staff, cannot fully engineer this solution. So it was more of a ballpark, like this is what we can do. And I talked to Mike over there at Encompass, and he was in favor. Yeah, if you want to do it the other way around and hire a firm like Encompass Engineering, have them put an RFQ packet together and have them bid out to contractors, then that sounds great. We do that. We just do our own internal engineering.
Would you guys install that? Would Hancock Wood install that, or would you hire a contractor?
we would install it based off of if you went with our proposal, because it's our fees and stuff like that. But again, I would have no reservation or for you guys to hire a firm, you know, the same meeting firm that I recommended, and you know, have it bid out to, public bid out to contractors. The only thing that, again, I would caution on is the fact that there's different types of devices. So, you know, if you expect Hancock Wood to come over and help, then you probably want to get some type of device that we have. You're welcome.
Andy, I have
Yeah,
two quotes.
yeah.
Could you remind me what the difference is? The one quote is for $64,000.
Yep.
So, and the other one, is it the SCADA? Is the SCADA
Yeah,
difference?
so the one is for electronic devices that are capable of getting put on one shot,
Mhm.
but act like AEPs out on the line that I just told you about. So
Right.
they only have single phase capability, and for the increment cost more, and I say relative because I deal in big numbers. The other one is for the actual 3-phase recloser.
Okay.
That was provided, that I know of by AMP as well, so. The first one is I would consider a Band-Aid type option. The next one is what you truly, most places have.
And then you would have access to a SCADA. Would we have access to the SCADA as well?
Well, we could help you with that, or give you some, but you couldn't have direct access to.
Right.
The SCADA that you would have access to is driving over there and having the push buttons and being able to see the panel and doing all of that stuff. So, because if we integrate it with our communications and SCADA, then obviously you
I
have
don't see all
access
your
to
stuff.
all of our stuff, and that could.
I didn't know if we'd be able to like at least see like if we had a power outage.
Yeah,
Tell
we
us.
could set you up with alarms and stuff like that, send you emails and or text messages and stuff like that for sure.
So what was those two prices then?
So the first price was for Hubble Versatech reclosers. They're just an electronic vacuum option that is it's kind of similar to the ones that AEP have. They act the same, but they're not filled with oil. And I'm pretty sure in that particular one, they're not brand new units. We have over 200 of them. We used to on our system. We've been moving to the electronic versions right there for our SCADA system. So we just have some laying around that I was just gonna kind of give
So
to
can
you
you read up
guys.
the two numbers?
Yeah. The first option was $64,974.26. Then the second option was a total of $87,826.98.
So remember, you guys pay our mutual aid fee, and that's why I'm not backing away from the fact that if you wanted to bid this out and that's still, because you're paying double the rate for us to come over and do it. So, just full transparency. Well, like I said last time, hopefully our guys are doing a good job over here. If not, again, I'm Andy. Feel free to give us a call and have a good rest of your night.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move on to Michelle Hengsteller.
I have questions. So the fact that, Mr. Filkins had that clause in his contract, does that mean we don't have to pay the 10 grand to pay his contract out? Because when you guys fired Mr. Filkins as our solicitor, he had a contract. Do we have to pay that contract out? So we got rid of a solicitor who's not a thief, he doesn't steal. You just don't think he's the greatest, which, not a fan. However, you guys thought it was okay to take 10 grand of our taxpayers' money and just give it away. And on top of it, we have to pay a solicitor to take care of our business. Now, what I don't understand is, I had so much hope for you guys. All you said was, we want to get along, the council would do great if they find a way to work with Brian. No, Brian's a great guy, council just won't work with him. Okay, John, not a fan, like I said. However, you guys couldn't go a year and put up with him without losing the 10 grand. I mean, we got sidewalks, Nan sewer thing, the water thing that everybody's been complaining about, that 10 grand can go to. Nobody thought about that? 10 grand's a lot of money that this town could use for sidewalks, for the street light that's on a delay up there. All kinds of stuff. You guys have a list, because it's all stuff y'all complained about before that needs to be fixed. And y'all just gave 10 grand so Mr. Filkins can go on vacation and kick it and then just find somebody else to be solicitor for it. And I mean, he's not a thief. Why? I guarantee I've talked to a lot of people in Arcadia, and there'll be more questions next month. Can you tell us why you fired him, other than he hurt your feelings?
There was no feelings involved.
So why did you let go of it?
Can I talk, Brian? Do you care if I
Yes.
talk? First of all, I was very upset at the time that you came in here and you asked why you were fired, and his excuse was, do you have a contract? But a year before that, this gal down there didn't have a contract, and he never questioned that. So that upset me, Michelle. First of all, that's first and foremost what upset me about this man. Second of all, we have come in here to look at some of the minutes and go over the minutes and checking out. This man right here had enough kindness in his heart to only give him a 6-month contract because we were getting a new mayor. What I'm upset about is there's 3 new council people. We were never given the opportunity to even extend a 6-month contract. They give him a 2-year contract over and above us. And I was angry about that, Michelle. I was angry about that.
I understand that.
And
they
that's
did it in
my
December.
point of view.
I get it. I totally understand that, and they did it in December to try to get it through.
That's
I
correct.
was here. I get
Not
it.
gave us any consideration at all.
And I know, I was upset when he told me I did not have a contract, so, and I was not fired, by the way. I quit.
I understand that, but you questioned it.
I
You questioned
questioned
it
why
just
I
like that.
wasn't working, and he told me that I couldn't, because I didn't have a contract, which puts me where I'm not a fan. But 10 grand is a lot of money, guys. We could not have just suffered through like you want the other council members to do and suffer through with Brian. That's a lot of money. Yes, Teresa?
Personally, we were already paying for something that we weren't getting much for.
Okay, but now we're paying for 2.
Yeah, I'd rather do that.
I would not.
Wow.
There's a lot of
And that's
other
okay.
people
I would
in
not.
Arcadia
You're
that
entitled,
would
you're
not.
entitled, I'm entitled. I worked for John for a long time. He has done nothing but go downhill. Ever
Yes.
since he got picked up for shoplifting at Long and Berry's Paints in Findlay.
Okay, I said, I'm not a fan. I get that.
Take back the thief.
Right, I said, well, he's not stealing from us. He was
Alright.
not
In a
stealing
way,
for
he
us.
is. If he's getting money and he's not really doing an adequate job balancing and representing everybody,
What
then
did
it's
he
not.
do?
Yeah, what exactly did you ask him to do that he did not do?
He did everything we asked him to do.
He's not gonna go, he's not gonna be doing things he's not supposed to.
You're gonna have to ask the new solicitors questions. That new solicitor cannot come out and say, this is what you're supposed to do, blah, 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 blah. He can't do that. You have to ask him the questions like John. Like I said, not a fan, not defending John, bitching about the 10 grand. That's where I'm at. I just think everybody that was council was expected to deal with Brian. No offense. But they were treated, blah, 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 because they couldn't get along with Brian, and they were expected to, and it was their fault they couldn't get along with Brian, but you don't have to try to get along with John. I mean, you didn't even give him a chance to get along. You kicked him out your very first meeting. You didn't even give him a try to see if he was gonna get any better, you just
What
kicked
I
him
would
out.
like to know is why the 3 people that's on this council right now, why they would want to keep him. Because I got slammed in my face, why did I want to get rid of him? I'd like to know why they would keep him when I have been coming here since 2021, and the guy was like this the whole time. Never spoke a word.
for 3 or 4 meetings at a time. Sometimes he didn't even come to a meeting. So that was my reason. But I'd like to hear from the ones that really wanted to keep him for 2 years.
Well, I think it's water under the bridge.
Okay.
No, it's definitely not water under the bridge. It's $10,000.
It just happened. I mean, the bridge,
Well, it's
water under
done.
bridge has
I
to
feel
apply
like
a
I
certain
feel like
amount
as a
of time.
mayor, you work for us. You should be telling us why you want to get rid of someone.
Everybody knew that I didn't like him.
Why?
personal.
It's personal.
It's a
And,
personal
and we all
vendetta.
knew because you
And you're trying
vote
to
3
steal from
against
villagers to
3,
do it.
and you're
So
the
it cost us
tiebreaker.
$10,000
So
for a
that's how it's all
personal
gonna work.
$10,000 for your personal vendetta.
I think the only way the village can move forward is to
Get rid of
not
you.
have Mr. Filkins.
So the new solicitors, are we paying them the same amount we paid Filkins, or is this going to cost us more?
Relatively the same.
No, relatively is not what I asked you.
Right in the same ballpark.
Again, not answering the question.
Yeah, pretty much.
But that's like public knowledge,
$200
right?
more.
$200
$200 more. This
So-
man has sat here for 30-some years. He was here when we.
$200 more.
That's not what I.
No,
Hold on,
Let
she
her
gets to
speak.
talk.
Let her speak.
Well, she just needs
He
to
was
clarify
here
what
for
you
30
said.
years. He was here and we did the Red Hawk thing. We as a village were not certain we wanted to do that because of the fact of where it was going, what it was doing. In turn, Red Hawk went bankrupt. He was here when that happened. I do not believe he had the village in his best interest at that time. And in turn, I don't know how much money we spent in attorneys, and we probably never got it all back to the village.
What did?
We
So
never got all
Filkins
that.
voted all that
We
in.
never got all
None
that.
of it back.
Okay, in turn,
So council
I'm not,
didn't
no, I'm
vote
not
it
saying about
in?
council, I'm saying he did not lead the way he should have with the council with everything going on. In turn now, we went with Red Hawk, we're running water out there, we're in the village, we're paying, I mean, we all had to pay for that too. In turn now, a guy wants 23 lots, he's putting one house on. $10,000 a tap for water. He bought 23 lots, he's getting one tap. $220,000 we will not get from Red Hawk because he bought 23 lots. We are losing $220,000 of tax.
Talk about 10,000.
But that was voted in by the council, that
What
was
voted
not
in by
John.
council?
No.
Red Hawk had
The
nothing to
Red
do with John
Hawk.
Filkins.
I know that. He was our attorney then.
Yeah.
But it's
I don't
not
know what she said.
Filkins' fault. She said they went to the county commissioners.
And he's representing us, he's supposed to go, but that would not happen.
He's supposed to not let us
Did
be
you know
letting-
that's how the council and everybody felt?
that we weren't sure about it. That whole room was full. I remember being up here. That whole room was full.
But
We
so
all
what
were
was the
worried about
vote? Was the vote unanimous, or did we have council
remember.
didn't
My
vote?
husband, my husband voted against the Red Hawk
Okay.
development.
Was he the only one?
Councilman that did.
So that's John Filkins' fault.
I didn't say it was his fault.
That's what you're saying.
No, I said.
It is what
he
you're
let us-
saying.
He did not represent us
You-
properly. I
Are
did
you
not
sure
say
that?
he
Are you
voted.
sure that you were you in an executive session when he said, "Hey, this isn't really a great idea," and the council said, "Screw you, we're doing it anyways"?
No, neither were you.
I'm asking. You're saying
I'm saying
you're saying
when I
dead
was
for
here,
sure.
you sat here,
You're
what
saying
also-
dead for sure that it did not happen that way.
You gotta slow it down.
So you can't.
Somebody. I can't.
I wasn't
But I'm gonna-
finished.
That's
You
fine,
only
sorry.
had 3
You get
minutes.
3 minutes.
She can have mine.
Do I get more time?
No idea.
Yes, go ahead because you were interrupted, and I'm pretty sure that Teresa's taken like
I'm pretty
17
sure you're not
minutes
the chair
many
of the
times.
meeting, so
I don't really care.
I would
Oh,
like
let's throw
to,
dirt around.
I'd just like to move on with the other resident concerns.
Okay, let's do that.
Carol Burning,
Question for Amy, last December 15th, ODOT came out with a grant for safe routes to school, primarily villages. It would cover a 2-mile radius from the school, and it would be 100% funded. All new sidewalks repaired, replaced. Did you apply for that?
No, we've gotten that before.
But why didn't you apply for it? We all need sidewalks. Rhonda brought it up about sidewalks.
Not about
last
safe
year.
routes to school.
Pardon?
That not for safe, nobody brought
Well,
up, nobody
you
asked.
get 100% free money. Why wouldn't you apply for it?
Carol, what was the date again?
Pardon?
What was the date
December
again?
14th. Last year we opened through ODOT. It's called Safe Route for Kids.
Safe routes to school is the grant we got before.
2024? 2025?
25.
They do it.
Is it too late to apply for it?
Pardon?
Is it too late to apply for it?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
I think it's something they do every year, Carol.
oh, okay. So you can still do it?
I guess if I didn't get back.
No one brought, it was never brought to my attention in any way, shape, or form to apply.
I thought we did the grant writing.
I don't know that grant writing is something that I do. If I find something that's interesting, I might bring it to council. Council comes up with something interesting, they might bring it to me, I might look into it further, but this was never a discussion. Not from me and not from council.
Well, if I recall correctly, that's also when Mark was getting ready to, that's also when Mark left, so we were kind of in the middle of a debacle.
And Brandon would do it for us, so.
So Amy was the only one in the office at that time. Or no, it would have been a year ago. Things have been very topsy-turvy. I don't know. I was just thinking last month. I'm sorry. I don't know. There's been a lot going on. Sorry. I misspoke.
I'd say if somebody comes across that, let us know. That way we can.
Well, I guess I thought Amy did it because she must have applied for the grant for the building.
Yeah, I mean, if she missed it and you guys knew about it,
I guess I thought she knew.
I just don't apply for every grant that's available.
I don't know, but I mean, she got it for the building, so I guess I assumed that you would do grants. I mean,
Like I said, Carol, I do. I mean, I see grants, and like I said, I do bring them to council sometimes if I see something, but I just did not have, I mean, I knew that we had already received it once. I guess I wouldn't even know if we were allowed to. I personally assumed we couldn't because we did receive it, but that doesn't mean I'm right. That's just my assumption.
so we received it.
We have received state rep. Yeah, well, we got, remember we got those bumpy, corners on the curbs? That was our Safe Routes to School
Okay,
grant.
you
and
didn't
we
know if you could
probably-
apply for it again.
Yeah, and we probably got that installed in 1920, somewhere in that vicinity.
What?
Those sidewalks for that safe.
2020?
19, I meant year 2019 or 2020.
Oh, I thought you were saying.
No, not
She said
1920.
1920.
I did, but I meant year 2019 or 2020. It was in that vicinity of when the sidewalks were installed for state routes to school. No, Teresa applied for it when she was still here, but it didn't come all the way through for a few years after she left. I didn't have anything to do with the state routes to school grant. Teresa had that all completed before I was here. It was just it had already been accepted.
There's actually a second phase that we could go into.
Okay.
There is so it was already accepted when I got here and they were still in process.
I would think if you were going to apply, then you'd be applying for money for the second phase. Because it's already written.
Can you do that, or do we need to hire somebody to do that?
No, we can look into that.
We usually look into more information about it.
I mean, for future reference, the EPA has just page after page after page.
Some of those
for Arcadia Village water.
Some of those grants, and I have looked into those too, Carol, some of them are specific to, I mean, without you saying which ones you see. Because, for instance, maybe it was not last year, but the year before, we applied for a grant where we got a valve turner equipment for free. And that was a EPA grant that I ran across. I brought to council, let them know that this was something that we could apply for, so. A lot of times those grants have things that are gonna make it so maybe we can't, so I don't always know which ones those are, but.
All right, Nathan Simon.
Yeah, why aren't you using salt on the intersections this winter?
I don't know. Jason
I don't know
Maddox
either.
would be able to answer that.
You're the mayor, why aren't we using salt in the intersections?
As cold as it's been, it wouldn't be effective.
Maybe we don't have salt, I don't know. I'm not the one that's on the streets, I'll ask Jason.
But you're the mayor, you should know what's
I
going
will
on in the
ask
cities.
Jason, the one who plows the streets. I don't think the plow is on the truck with the salt spreader, to be honest. All he
Have you
said
hired a
was,
solicitor yet? Or a
Administrator.
we're
administrator?
working on it.
All right, and then my next statement is your little comment before we went to executive session doesn't help
anything. You've raised attention by saying that. You need to start leading with respect, empathy, and dignity. I'm talking to the mayor.
Okay, you're looking at me, I thought you were talking to me.
No, I have amblyopia, so it's a condition. So maybe some empathy, some respect to the village residents would be helpful to move on.
Mr. Duckett.
I want to know what the rate is for the solicitor you're hoping to hire. She said 200 more. I want to know if that was per month or per year, what?
Per year.
$200 more per year?
They're gonna come out to $5,040 a year. Correct.
That'd be more than that.
What was the?
40,
It was for
48.
And he,
400.
this guy, he rounded it up just so that we just give it an even number round up.
5,040.
Yeah, so you said it was 48, so it's $240.
I don't think that's accurate, or whatever you say. You're just wanting to spend several thousand more dollars that the village could use for other stuff. That's all I have to say. That's,
Okay.
Ron, the step. Good. Teresa.
Okay, a couple things. I'm assuming that we're gonna have a bit of a report regarding the county commissioners and their meeting regarding the easement. That is the legal thing. Okay, so I'll wait to hear that. One of the things regarding disconnects, I felt really bad for Guy Johnson last month and his renter that left him with all kinds of money. The only thing, I know that a lot of people on council don't like to hear how it was that we used to do it, but people were shut off after 2 months. And if they did need a payment plan, we worked out a payment plan as best we could, but they had to keep their current electricity and water and sewer up to date and pay on what was left. Another thing that we actually did was pass the delinquent list around to the council members. Nobody knew who was on that list, but the opportunity was there for you to say, oh my goodness, look, Guy Johnson renter is this astronomical amount. I mean, $1,400 I think is a lot of money that Guy had to take care of. We actually passed the delinquent list around, and yes, people's names appeared on that, but those people's names were never mentioned. But there was always a slight chance that somebody would, on council would say, hey, you know, this seems like an extreme amount. And then maybe you would hear, that's already been taken care of. The list comes out right as soon as the penalties are applied, and that customer is clear now. But I just wondered if that might be something that should be passed around for council to take a look at.
It's none of their business who's on their delinquents list.
Well,
Is
if
that their
they're
business?
thinking about somebody like Guy Johnson that had to get in his own pocket and
Then
pay
Guy
it.
Johnson should have made sure the bill was paid. It
He
was his
wasn't-
rental
He
property.
wasn't getting a notice from the utility clerk that it wasn't paid.
Still his rental.
It is not something that happens multiple times a year. This is a really out of the ordinary situation.
Okay, so then the other thing I wanted to ask about was, I guess I'm not feeling the same sort of speeches that I heard before before the election was held, that we're working for the residents and for the people and for the community. So I'm hoping maybe we can revert back to some of that empathy from the council people that had those wonderful speeches before the election. That's it.
Mr. Metcalf?
Where do you start?
I'm sorry, my topic is kind of leading off of our report from Hancock Wood. Over the last few years, we have been quietly expanding our business there at RPM. We've added several millions of dollars of new equipment over the last few years. We're hiring 4 to 5 new people every year. So we've continued to expand. We would like it to continue. We are reaching a point where we no longer have the room or the capacity to expand what we're at. We would like to, we need to expand our building in order to bring in more new equipment, to hire more people. But also to run that equipment, we need more power. So my question is, since the village controls the electric supply here, what is going to happen? What does the village utility future look like here? Number one, are you interested in selling me more power? If not, or if the village is not interested in seeing us expand, then I need to start looking for another site. But before I invest several millions of dollars in a new building, an expansion, and all that kind of stuff, I gotta know I have power to power the equipment that we plan to put in this building. So I just wanted to put that out there to see what's going on. I know you guys have a lot of other issues to deal with. I apologize if this is not high on the priority list, but I don't know if the utility will eventually be turned over to a Hancock Wood or an AEP, or if we plan to keep it as a private entity here in the village, what the plans are for employees, personnel, contractors, however we're going to manage it. I'd just like to know that we have a reliable source. I can tell you that the brownouts, the single phasing that goes on, is much more devastating to me as a business than a total power outage. When everything just shuts off, it's not great, but we usually don't suffer any damages. When we single phase our three-phase equipment, we burn up circuit boards, motors, contactors, things like that. It's usually, the single circuit board is usually somewhere around $5,000 to $10,000. So when we single phase here, it usually costs us some money. That's part of doing business. I'm not looking for any pity or anything. It's just, with what he's proposing with the electronic switching, that would stop the single phasing that we experience. Every time a squirrel decides to chew a line, or, and in all honesty, I would say 90% of the power outages that we experience are usually an AEP power problem. It's not an internal village problem. I think the village has done a very good job of trying to maintain the lines and do things, but, anything we can do to try to make the power more reliable, obviously, is a good thing. I'm not sure, like I say, as we expand, we would need to bring in, we've got right now a 1200 amp three-phase service to our building. We'd be looking to bring a second 1200 amp three-phase service into our building. I'm not sure anymore here, who do I talk to, who would handle that from the village side of things. I would be hiring electric contractors to handle it on my side of things. I know I'd be buying the transformer, things like that, but, as far as how we get the three-phase power from on the other side of South Street to my property, poles would have to be set, lines would have to be run, things like that I don't know really who.
Eric, when the school did the upgrade with their electric, of course, they had their own engineers and contractors and all that, but they also communicated with our AMP, and AMP kind of came out and helped with our side of it. So I would almost venture to have like a meeting with someone from AMP that could shed more light on whether or not we could meet your needs and how that would be done, and whether or not it would be a problem.
We're in the early phases of planning. I just thought this would be a good time to kind of get it out there to see what's going on and what have you. So,
where would your new transformer have to set? Would it be on the east side?
It would have to be on the east side of the building, yes. So, from what we've looked at, the cleanest point of contact would probably be somewhere down by Lonnie Moses's house. That line of three-phase power is where we'd want to come off of, and we would want to run down Jocelyn Street and then cross over or under whatever to get to our side of the street for a pad mount transformer and all that. So, we've had a very good relationship over the years. Everything's worked very well. Just not sure what the future holds for the village electric, because I know that some of the equipment's starting to age out, and it's very expensive to try to keep the correct personnel, licensed personnel, but do that work. You know, if you're gonna rely on contractors, that's great. Just kind of trying to feel out to see where things are going. I don't see a clear path. Maybe when we have a new administrator or something that'll clear up. So I'm not expecting answers tonight or anything. I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot. Just wanted to kind of get that out there and make sure that there's some thought with everything else going on in the village that, hey, you know, what about our electricity and reliability and where we're going with it? I don't know. I don't have any solutions for you guys. You know, I don't know if it makes sense to turn the electric over to like a Hancock would or somebody, or if that doesn't make sense. I've never studied that. I don't know what the answers are.
Do you have a time frame or anything yet, Eric? I mean, are you looking
Like I say,
at a
we're
year?
we're in the early design phases. I hope to have some engineering drawings of building layout. We'll be looking at having to build a new parking lot, you know, things like that. So I'm hoping to have things that I can actually bring to the village to show you. Right now, I have nothing at this point, but hopefully maybe for the next couple months, I'll start to have some engineering drawings and surveys, things like that I can share with our zoning inspector and with the council and what have you, as far as what our thoughts are. You know, I fully intend to get that out there, make sure that everybody's on board, that we have agreement. Because again, like I said, I'm looking at anybody that's built anything recently, no, it's not cheap. So, you know, initial numbers I've been seeing is a little bit of sticker shock even on my part, you know, cost construction have really gone up since the last building that we put up. So, but, my intentions, Arcadia's been a good home to us for, this will be, the company will be 60 years old next year. We're 59 years this year, and we've been here since 1969. So Arcadia is our home. It's been very good. I've raised my family here. This is home to all of us. Really don't want to go anywhere. But if we get to a point where we can't continue to grow, we're going to be forced to have to do something. It's our customers are putting pressure on us to keep up with the demands. There's a lot of talk of the reshoring and the things that are going on. Not to bore everybody, I don't get into politics or anything, but there is a lot of truth to what's going on there. Is that companies are now realizing that they need to make things here in the U.S. in order to make things, build things, fix things. We need people that are capable. We need skilled trades. I'm out constantly trying to, talk that up in our schools. I have two of my employees that are instructors at Millstream. They're in there every other week, working between us and Grove. We're supporting Millstream and promoting the skilled trades on the machining side of things. So, there's a lot of positive out there. There's a lot of good things happening. It's a great opportunity for our young folks, skilled trades in general. So I've been trying to talk it up, and I think it's really a fantastic opportunity for the young people in our community here, because as a father, I'm very selfish. I like to keep my children close to me. And if there's not opportunities here for our kids, then they're going to be forced to go elsewhere. That's the bottom line. I mean, for us with some gray hair, you probably remember those days in the 80s when there wasn't opportunities. You had to go elsewhere. Right now, we're very fortunate, and we're trying to take advantage of that, expand it, and build on it. Not sure, like I say, I don't want to think that we'll ever get to a point where we outgrow the village. That's not my intention. But I do need to know that we've got some support here, and continue to get power and what have you, which hopefully should only be a good thing for the village. It generates revenue. What have you.
All right, thanks.
Sorry.
We'll get some information around it. Move on to the fiscal officer report.
So I passed out the appropriation status, the revenue status, and the cash summary by fund. I sent you an email, I think yesterday or today, from AMP, and it's got, 2 projects on it from AMP. Maybe a year or 2 ago, I brought council that they had a solar project. It's probably been longer than 2 years. Anyways, they had a solar project for us. Do you guys understand how AMP works? That we have assets? Yeah, so this would be another asset that would help with our portfolio. And one of them is a solar project and one of them is a wind project. I have an ordinance or resolution for them, but we're not in a hurry to pass them now, so if you guys wanna look over it. But it helps our portfolio spread out, so, you know, when something is high, maybe ours will be low, it's good for the overall look of it. And that's all for me.
Alright, so I spoke with Casey about the building demo. We're still on track. She has reached out to Mr. Leathers.
He hasn't been there for a while.
He requested that he get something out that he really wanted, but he hasn't been up there. So I called and left a voicemail with him as well, and he hasn't returned my call. Casey said she hasn't gotten any more contact from him, but she did go to the commissioners, and we have an extension on that project until June of 2026. So I will again try to make some phone calls to Mr. Leathers to see if he got what he wanted out of his building, and then if we're able to just move ahead with the demolition.
He did move a bunch of stuff out, but he hasn't been there for a while.
Yeah, I haven't heard from him. I will call him again. Then we're gonna move on to old business, the County Road 254 repaving. So last month you told me you had the information. I spoke to Mr. Holman Friday after that meeting and said, hey, what's going on, Denny? I thought you were gonna give me some information. He said, I did. I gave it to your clerk before the end of the year and told her to pass it on to the mayor so he could look it over. I never got that information.
He said bring it to council.
He told me he asked you to pass it on to the mayor so he could share it with council. So I'm just saying, I didn't get the information.
Okay.
So we will keep that on old business
Okay.
and discuss it again when we get, everybody get the information so we know what the costs are. He explained some of it to me. One side is township, one side is ours. Section of it this way is ours, and they're going to split the costs, so we'll get the numbers off that. I'll get a copy of that from you. Moving on to the Guy Johnson issue. Anybody have any solutions to that? Any opinion?
I have the amount when he really should have gotten shut off, and it's about at $640. You guys decide what. The total
Didn't shut it off.
was $14.59.
So he was told, Amy told him to shut it off. Emergency shut it off.
What did you say? $14.59 was the original amount, but the amount where he technically should have been turned off for 2 months would have been $640.41.
So Amy, you do try to shut it off in 2 months, don't you?
So, when your bill is due on the 15th,
Okay.
if you haven't paid it, you get a letter and it's due the first Friday of the following month, like 2 weeks later.
Okay.
So bills are never 2 months old.
Okay,
It's really, really a month,
okay,
maybe 6 weeks.
okay,
And then they're expected to pay.
okay.
And they're usually really, I mean, I usually don't have like a lot of issues. Definitely not to the extent that I did.
Did we have a deposit for him?
Yes, but he was paying on time for a very long time, so he got it back. Because he knew that he would get it back if he paid on time.
Yeah, because don't you give it back within the year that they
Yeah, we
started?
don't have any rules about renters not getting their deposits back. I mean, that might be something to consider. I think
Oh.
AEP does that. If you're a renter, they don't return it until you close it, or maybe it's a long time. I think they don't give it back to you until, you leave.
The guy wasn't notified before it got to 1,400 somehow.
No, Nope, he was not.
Do we have something where there's, like, the owner's supposed to be notified after something left, or can we do something?
Well, Teresa used to send a letter every month. I don't think that's necessary for people to be informed that their renters are paying late, because they pay every month.
But I'm saying like that 640,
No, I agree.
because it's like, I
Well,
mean,
the administrator said he dropped the ball when he wasn't shutting him off at the one meeting.
the administrator said he.
Mark wasn't shutting him off.
But you're saying that Mark said he wasn't shot, that he dropped the ball, but he didn't shut him off.
I'm not sure how much he actually dropped the ball, but just
Are we allowed to send a letter to the owner?
Yes, yes. And you, think about it this way though, if you're only a month, if you're late on the 15th, probably means you have 2 bills sitting on by the time your bill is due, you're gonna have 2 months due. The last month and the one that's not due to the 15th. So realistically, when I call you because your renter hasn't paid, it shouldn't be more than this 2 months.
I just have talked to other people and they are not notified if their renter's not paying, but I also know that
I think when
if
if it's gonna get shut off, I call the renter.
right here, but I'm
Yes.
saying in other
Oh, you're
towns,
saying
I've
other
talked to
places
other
don't.
people that are landlords. But I also know that like, if you're in Fostoria, you have ADP and that follows them.
Yes.
So that follows them that if they try to rent
They
somewhere
couldn't-
else,
they
they
could
couldn't
use
turn their
AEP
electric
anyway.
on.
Right.
But I just feel like that might be a confidentiality thing, sending it is how I feel about it. I don't think Jay Johnson should be responsible for it, but that's my opinion.
I didn't know you said anything, I'm sorry. I heard.
I said, I don't think he should be responsible for it.
He should be
because
responsible for.
I'm not sure that we should be letting him know that his renter,
Right.
I just feel like, because that's,
No, I understand
that's
that.
between us and the renter.
Yes.
I feel like,
that, but
I
if
feel
you're
like
a
that's
renter,
a
if you're a renter,
slippery slope.
if you're a renter, like, it's usually with water, because most communities own water. So like in Fostoria, if I don't pay my water bill, and
That stays in the landlord's
that
name.
stays with the property, not the, like, it stays
But
with the property.
Right,
So-
but that, in like Fostoria, the water stays in the landlord's name.
The property, no, it doesn't. I can put my name, I can put, when I have
The one
water.
landlords I've talked to, they leave it
Well,
in their
sometimes they
name.
do that because they're the ones responsible for it, and then if you're not paying it, they have no way to know.
Right, but that's what I'm
but
saying, cause
You definitely can put it in your
AEP's
name.
not
though.
telling the landlord.
Yes,
That's where I think that, I'm not sure that we.
that it's right
Should be
to
let-
informing people
yes.
of other stuff like
I
that.
agree.
My thing is,
That's what I'm
can we, like you said, I got 2 months, they give out 2 months. Can we then, if they don't pay it like that $640, could we then send it to the landlord? I mean, he's the
What
one
I
who's
would,
responsible.
what I would do at that point, Shelley, is they would need shut off.
Yeah, but would you notify the
Before
owner?
I shut any renters off,
Mhm.
I'm gonna call the landlord.
Okay.
And say, hey, your renters aren't paying, I'm gonna turn it off, because sometimes it's in the winter.
Yeah,
And they don't want their house
that's
to
what I'm saying,
have stuff.
to
broke.
notify them.
So, and generally when that happens, the landlord tells me they're gonna move out, shut it off anyways, or I have a conversation and they decide what they wanna do. If they want it left on, I leave it on, I put it in their name, I just do a final bill.
Yeah.
This is just a really unusual circumstance. This
But
is
if
not-
Guy gets it back, don't you have to give Carol's back? Cause it's even the same person.
What do you mean?
Well, cause Carol had,
It wasn't Jimmy that did it.
oh, well, she
And
had
this
to,
is the only one I've ever had where it's been this many months. Anybody else, I mean, they might have had an extra month, but not multiple ones.
This bill is paid up though, isn't it? Did Guy pay for it, paid it all?
No,
Oh, Guy hasn't paid it?
it will be assessed to the auditor. That's
Oh,
what I
okay.
would normally do. If you don't pay the bill and you own the property, I'd let you know that it's either going to be assessed to your taxes if you don't pay it, or you can pay it ahead of time and it just won't get
So this
assessed.
is
to
not
you.
paid yet?
So I let them know that they have options either way.
Okay.
Was the utilities consumed?
Yes.
I think it's due.
It still needs to be paid. But I'm wondering if we.
And to Jeff's point, I mean, We did pass remember when we had the water thing with the Red Hawk, and we passed a 6-month, that you had to pay 6 months past due? There was a time frame. Remember that?
Yes, there was a time frame, but I don't remember.
That
what
you
it
would
was.
do over more or less, so that if somebody said we owed them money, we would only reimburse them for a certain amount of time. And likewise, if we owed somebody,
Like
we
on a
would
meter or
only
something.
charge
Yes.
them a
Yes.
certain amount of time if it would have passed.
Right.
So I could visit that and see what time frame that gives.
Well, that's what I wondered, if you could just set up a payment plan to stretch it out so that it wasn't one lump sum.
Do landlords have to sign a contract with us to have properties in Arcadia? Maybe that's something you should look at. They have to sign a contract saying if their tenant does not pay, then they will pay it.
I think you should keep a deposit. Renters shouldn't
And they shouldn't get their
deposit.
deposit back ever.
I think that would be, I guess what you're saying, Vicki, I think that renters, if you're a landlord, I
Or
think
like
that's kind
landlord
of
saying
something
he's
you know.
responsible.
That you're responsible if,
The guy's saying he's not responsible for it.
oh, he's mad because it got so high. It should have been turned off. Because I'm sure Guy's been in this position where he's had to pay somebody else's bill before because.
I mean, and he has recourse too. He could take him to small claims court or
Very
something like
true.
that.
I know other people that have had smaller bills would do the same thing for that kind of situation.
So is he allowed to have another utility here in Arcadia?
Who, Jimmy?
Yeah.
No. Not unless he pays that.
Not that it's my business.
You have to pay the bill before I turn your electric back on.
So if Guy gets somebody else in that house, they can still get electric to that house? They can still, okay. I just wanna make sure.
It's got electric to it now.
Okay, I just wanna make sure.
Because
person
this
that
bill
was
was not in Guy's name, it was in Jimmy's name.
Okay.
So
then-
Guy has electric right now in his name,
Okay.
and then he will get a renter and then they will put it in there. So
What
this
is-
bill is specific to Jimmy.
What is the deposit for the month?
It's $100 per utility.
Okay, so they would.
So theirs would have been 300.
300. Still wouldn't cover it?
No, but,
Yeah, I just didn't know.
but it does help. I mean, it usually would cover at least a month, and that makes landlords happier that, you know, they're not paying the whole amount of the past due.
Any thoughts on how you guys will proceed with that?
Can you look up and get us the information as to how long of a time period they have? to-
Yeah, and we don't have to
Or can we
decide.
even reach out to Guy? I'm just trying to think, what can we do? Can we reach out to Guy and see if he'd be willing to pay on it? Or if we'd have a way to try and recoup some money and work on a payment plan?
I agree that we need to get contact on it, so he knows that we just didn't throw this to the side and
Right.
say, start out with you. I think Guy needs to be informed and, I don't know. Part of
I
me-
would tell you, Shelley, that in the past practice is that when you use it, you pay for it. Just like when Angela had a bill where her meter wasn't running, or, I'm sorry, her meter was working, the thing that tells me what her number is was not.
Mhm.
So she had about a $3,000 water bill that just showed up on her doorstep one day. And she still had to pay it, but she did get to pay it over time.
I was gonna say, I mean, how much time are we talking, not for her, but what time are we looking at if Guy was to do that?
You'd probably just have a conversation and see what
What works
he's,
for him.
what he's.
Because I get it's his house, it's his rental.
It's his,
He's
it's his
respons-
business,
it's-
kind of.
Yes, and he's, in the end, he's responsible, but in turn, the ball was, as you said, the ball was kind of dropped, and he didn't know. So otherwise, if he'd have known, like he said, if I'd have known, I said, shut it off.
I just think we need to sit down and have a casual conversation with him
I
and
think
see
I
if he'd be willing to work on a payment plan.
Well, and if you say that 640 is when it should have, but 14 is where it got turned off, maybe there's some in-between number that Guy would be
Yeah,
more
but we need to,
reasonable
we need to
with.
talk with them and, you know, and see what he says.
Okay.
You know.
So we'll keep this on old business and come back to it. And then moving on to the Red Hawk, Jeff and John and I did go to that meeting, and our easements stay in place.
Correct.
So we're not losing any of that. However, we did lose tap fees, right? But at least our easements, and they cannot vary from that at all.
And they're
it will
not
be-
allowed to build, like, I know they wanna build right by our line.
Our easements are still the way they were,
Okay.
as that was all written up, and they cannot change.
And it is street right-of-way, so it's a 60-foot utility right-of-way that we
Oh, it
have.
is?
Yes,
Yes.
and that
Okay.
will continue.
Okay.
So we've got the full, the only thing is, and I asked the question and I didn't get an answer, there may need to be some survey work done out there so that we know where them right-of-ways are, and so that we know.
So we can, would you put pins then to mark them?
I'm sure the pins were there, but
Okay.
they've been farming this for the last 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
So the pins are tore out by now.
Okay.
So I guess I asked the question and nobody answered, but I guess I feel that it should probably be the owner's responsibility to have that resurveyed. But I would think it would be in our best interest if he doesn't do it, that we do it. Just for the fact that we need to know where that utility right of way
Well,
is.
can you just survey the right of way? I guess I've never thought of it that way. I mean, usually you survey a property, not the street right of way.
Right, and it's his property, you know, we would be in on his property doing surveying work if we did it. But I mean, it doesn't matter, you know, there's gonna be a standard pen that they work from, and everything should be, you know, calculation from that pen. So, but we'll need to make sure that that gets resurveyed.
Jeff, I want to thank you for taking the time and going to these meetings and stuff. I appreciate that.
Yep, no
Getting
problem.
involved.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
They did, they required a approval from Big Lick Township trustees, and they had a verbal one from them. The county's solicitor did not have that done yet. I think they was gonna email that to us when they got it done, so.
All right, moving on here. I'd like to discuss ordinance 2025-H and the link cameras, which I feel are not necessary any longer now that we have a new security system. I would like to see those come down. Anybody got thoughts on that?
These cameras have been wired, right? So the blinks are not.
They're out there again.
I was gonna say, how we're gonna, are you gonna go up and take them down off the side of the building?
Yeah.
I mean-
I think the one out on the window's already gone. I didn't see a camera there.
They might be taking it down.
I'll look, but I didn't see. I saw the mounting bracket.
Inside his house.
I did take one out. You think this one's
I think
on?
they took the front one down, because I didn't see that one. Why don't we take those cameras and, no, they run on Wi-Fi, never mind. But are they hurting anything with being up?
I still am not sure who has access to them.
Nobody does.
I can see who has access on the app.
I'd like to see who has access to them.
Does our new cameras cover everything that these link cameras are covering?
Well, we need to get coverage down at cold storage. We don't have any coverage down there.
So none of this new stuff we put in was put down there?
No,
Well, we didn't have that on the quote.
So the cameras that we got installed here, when he came in and talked to me about the camera system, these are all ran off of a Wi-Fi, but we can put a camera down there that just records, that you wouldn't be able to see from your phone at all, but it would still record that if something happened, you'd be able to go back and look at the camera,
Footage.
because it's recorded there.
Because we've had multiple times where kids have vandalized and painted and done all that
So
stuff.
that was just something we talked about, is that would be a possibility without having to put Wi-Fi down there.
then we know who was painting on the door and painting the big garage doors. But this other one, like, she showed me the one day that they happened to be here. The camera people even showed me, you could only see in the one side of the garage over there.
Yes.
So they even recommended getting another one to show the opposite side of the garage, the other side
The other
of
bay.
the other bay. So why don't we
One of
just use
these
one of
cameras,
those?
one of the
Yes,
cameras.
yes.
And
Because we
then-
have a lot of spots in the system that we can probably add a less quality. The more cameras you add, the less quality you get, the less time it records, but we don't have a camera on that.
But why don't you just put a
Furthest
blink
back.
camera out there for right now, so we have the option to have them come back and do it.
And I can show you, Brian, it tells me exactly whose phone it's on, and it's just my phone and Mark's phone. But I can show you.
I'd like to see that because somehow I mysteriously had a email that was intended for Josh Talento, ended up on Mr. Duckett's Facebook page. So you can understand the lack of trust there. When Mr. Talento requested emails for public record request, Mr. Duckett ended up with one of mine to Mr. Talento and put it on his Facebook page. He should not have even known that email existed because you were in charge of collecting those, and those were intended for Mr. Talento.
Yeah.
He did not pick them up. So those did not go to anybody else. He ended up with one.
Yeah, and I didn't give it to Adam. Somebody was in the office that requested it. It's public record when
It's a public record.
You're the email in question, you were also telling him which records to request, so what's it matter if someone tells someone
I'm
else
just
what
saying.
record to request? It's the same exact thing you were doing. in
I'm
your
just
email.
saying,
Get over it.
there's a lack of trust there, so.
Yeah, for you, you came in and stole a security camera.
So
We
then
can
moving
trust you.
on, we'll go into new business. We'll come back and readdress the blank cameras.
Did you check your house for any that are missing?
And we'll move on to sheriff's contract if anybody wants to see it.
Is it the same
This
as
is-
before?
Well, I think what was
Did
rated
you
for
add some new stuff?
45.
Oh, they changed the
I think
price.
it's $50 now.
How many hours of service is that?
Probably 4 is what we had before.
Well,
Per week?
not to exceed 17. He's got it in there. Not to
Per
exceed.
month?
Yes.
Does that count against it if somebody has like a call?
No, we asked that when we first had the meeting. If we make a call, it doesn't count against us.
Okay.
Like if a resident calls, it doesn't
Right.
count against it.
I was just wondering.
Can I ask a question?
No, it's 50. It's in there. It was 45 at one last time, right?
I was gonna see, it's always the same. So there's-
Just,
I think we did. 1, 2, 50. Didn't he come here? Didn't Sheriff Cortez come here and hand us a contract?
Last year, because
Last
he
year,
just
I
got
asked if he was
hired.
gonna do that this year, and he said, just print the one off that I sent you.
Okay.
And they said if you want me to come or have a deputy come with a contract, I will send them out with one.
So I'm just trying to remember what was last year.
So I printed off the one he emailed.
So can we request different hour changes or anything? I
Yep.
mostly see them on Saturdays and Sunday mornings.
When the ladies are going to church?
I
mean,
see him during the
I
day
see 'em.
sometimes too, but you can change that, you can have a conversation with them about like the times. I know when we first met
I
with them.
mean, I
he
guess
said-
I'd like them to come at least once, over the course of the evening or late
Well, when
night.
the kids
Maybe
get out
they-
of school,
And maybe
maybe.
they do, but
I think they
They
were
were
here
here
this
this
morning.
morning.
They only,
There's
it's only
only
4 hours.
Only 4 hours.
They sit over there in
Oh,
the
yeah.
dark
Yeah,
corner,
they-
then they watch you fly down the road and
I've
go
seen
get
them
them.
at different times of the day, that's why he doesn't know if they're coming every shift, or was this morning.
No, and I get
They're
a
clients
report
on
that
the
says
morning
like
line.
specifically when they were here and what they
Oh, okay.
did. They go by
Well, I
your,
just
through
go
your building all the
25
time.
down the road till we hit
Eric.
the
Really pretty.
They go down
Usually
South
I
Park.
just see
Yeah.
them by the house.
I've seen Dr. Tony a lot.
Sunday morning.
Lutheran Church.
David Coyne's here.
I had some down there at the cemetery, just recently.
I think the whole idea was for it to be random so that thieves and people wouldn't be able to guess when they were
We
gonna be
kinda had
there.
conversations with them about coming during school hours, but it's in between their shifts. But they also said that they would accommodate us if that's what we wanted, but I don't know that we've been forceful enough or
Right.
to say that, please do that for us.
I mean, I'm okay if everybody else is okay with what they've been doing.
There was one this morning sitting over in the shop parking lot when I was on my way to school at 7:45. And then I also have the school resource officer who does call Sheriff Cortez. They're on a pretty good relationship. So if we have something going on, like the kids that were speeding down Farmers Lane, he just called Cortez and said, hey, could you please have a deputy out here when the school lets out? So they do. We get some special treatment, kind of. And that's happened on more than one occasion when he's called. They sent a deputy over that wasn't really intending on coming this way.
Do you need a motion to accept the contract?
Well, just as long as everybody's
After
okay.
everybody's done with it?
I'm okay with it, it just has to be amended because it says January 1st. Unless it's.
No, that's when it should be.
Yeah, it was supposed to be renewed. but
Yeah.
Oh, we'll just.
I
make it
had
retroactive.
sent Mr. Cortez an email, and he didn't get back to me on whether he was sending the deputy or himself before our meeting. So when he did finally return my email, he said, just, if you're good with it, sign it
Gotcha.
and send it back.
Okay, thank you.
And like I said, if you want a deputy or Mr. Cortez to come, he will arrange that for a meeting. So. So everybody's okay then?
Been the same contract we've used for years.
Yeah.
We can all
Just a
agree on
different.
Everybody's good with it.
Yep.
I'm okay with it.
Okay.
All right, and we're moving on to the oops notifications.
You gonna do that contract tonight?
I was gonna say, do you
Yeah.
need a motion tonight?
Move for a motion to accept the sheriff's contract.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Jeff?
Yes.
Angela? Yes. Kelly? Yep. Jenny?
Yes.
Good. So one of the oops notifications locating services, when our sewer line was punctured, Amy called me at school. I said, I don't know where to direct you. I'd give Jeff a call. He was an administrator, so he instructed her to call Finley. Later on down the line, I asked Amy had she called anybody to locate that area. She said, I was told, they told me I didn't have to, it's not my job.
Told me not to, it's not my job.
And-
Not that I didn't have to.
And I asked who are they? And she said, council members. So who were the council members giving an employee a direct order that you do not have, that's not in your job scope?
It doesn't matter because Ohio Revised Code says if we don't have an administrator, then the mayor needs to take over as the chief executive officer and the administrator.
And so, then I'm asking who, as council, told Amy, that was not her job. That is not your job to tell an employee a direct order. And so when I found out that we had our sewer line punctured, I did call Oops, spent several days and hours on the phone, getting myself replaced as a contact because Mark was not here Amy is the second contact on the oops.
I do not get them.
No.
They do not
She,
come to me.
I was
any-
told that
By
you
who?
were the second, by oops.
But I'm not getting the notifications. They're not sending them to me.
All right, so I was told by oops that you were the second contact.
That's fine. They do not come.
Okay.
Anyways,
But I have one comment to make, Brian. You have told her time and time again, she's got to be dabbling in the administrative position and doing different things about building permits, administrative work, or telling people what they should be doing or shouldn't be doing. So if you want her to be the clerk and the fiscal officer, don't ask her to do oops things.
I didn't, I was told she was the second contact for that.
Okay, but I'm just
So
clarifying.
I was told incorrectly by oops.
Okay, I'm just clarifying.
But I'm also asking who told her not to do it, it's not her job. No council member has the authority to direct her on a daily basis of what she does and what she does not do.
She doesn't have to listen to us then. I mean,
Well, I'm just
I
saying.
didn't do it, I didn't say it, but I'm just saying that.
At the last meeting, she said since Mark quit, she had nobody to do the testing.
I thought we
But they gave her permission to contact and locate service. You
Yeah.
guys voted for her to contact and contract.
Okay,
with
so I
service.
contacted some locating services.
Well,
I got-
unfortunately, it happened before she did that.
I got Northern Lights, and their fee depends on the scope of the job, and oops would send them the ticket, and then they would give us an estimate. They gave me no further information on that. I also contacted Underground Detective. They are $245 an hour plus travel costs with a minimum of an hour.
Can you repeat that, please? I'm sorry, my ears are all plugged up.
So Underground Detective is $245 an hour plus travel costs with a minimum of 1 hour. Bloodhound is $264 an hour with an $89 travel fee with a 2-hour minimum, which equates to $617 just to start, not their time on the job. And they also include a round trip to pay for their tax. So whatever that would be is way out. So the one I like is South Shore Utility, and he actually replied and gave me a breakdown. I gave him how many oops we do on an average per year. I gave the information to the rest of them. Bloodhound's just way out. So here's something if you guys want to look at it. This is South Shore and what they would charge. And if we contract them, I believe the oops tickets go to them, not to us. So they would be the ones getting the notification and sending the people.
And was there a way that like we would only do it for a certain amount of time, Brian? Is it your contract?
They can do it by per locate,
Okay.
or we can set up a contract. Seemed like they were pretty flexible on that.
Okay.
There's
If we have
three
a new
different options.
administrator that's
Well,
able to do
right,
it.
and that's
I don't get tied into
what
something.
Jeff and I were talking about with the new administrator. You know, use this service until we get our administrator and the administrator's trained. And then perhaps go back to him. Because he would have the maps,
It takes up a lot of their time. The administrator does a lot of it.
but he would have the maps here to immediately look and go flag.
Well, wouldn't this company come here to,
They would probably come here, send someone here to look at maps,
whenever they did one?
probably.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Brian, do you have the bill on this last oops?
Actually,
that cost us?
well, I got off pretty easy
Okay.
because Amy said she had to replace parts to repair the line, which came to $1,295.80.
And then I have one more bill that was
She has
from the
one more
repair person.
bill
I
from the
think
person
that one
who
was about
repaired the
14.
line. I also spoke to James Fox from the city family and asked what the bill was for having the manpower, the overtime, and he said they treated us really well.
And they had
They
multiple
only
times.
charged us for the use of 2 vacuum trucks.
So that's
So-
a
They charged us,
estimated
but they
of,
didn't bill me.
He said you should be getting a bill for
Okay,
two vacuum
that's good.
trucks. So if they wanna see,
Yep,
so do we need to approve her buying this stuff or not?
it's under the, it's under the 3,000.
Oh, it's under the 3,000.
About 14,
$1,295.
that's the parts. The
That's the
parts are
parts.
12, the repair person was about 14. No, that is their cost. They're not charged, oh, the back.
Vector trucks. He said,
Okay, so
said you
with
would be getting it.
the South Shore, Brian, they're completely liable with everything, correct?
Yep.
Okay, now can you go back to the other conversation you were having, because I'm trying to read this and trying to listen to what you're saying at the same time. The parts, the vacuum trucks and the labor, what were you saying about that?
Parts that were used to repair the pipe were $1,295.80. The person who repaired, Amy has the numbers, roughly $1,400. And then the city of Findlay supposedly is sending an invoice for just the use of 2 Vector trucks,
Okay.
not for any manpower or any of that. So, is everybody okay with going with South Shore?
Did they tell you how much they would charge you to drive out?
It's, no, this here. It's just $1,500 a month, which includes up to 130 notifications, $10 per notification for 130 to 150, and $8 per notification for 151 to 200. What did you estimate we have in a year? Well, below.
Less than 200.
Yeah, but I don't think they're gonna
Really?
charge just $8.
No, you gotta, how many do you give?
Every time they come, they're probably
Go
going to
to 130.
charge 130.
I have 131 to 150 is another $10 per
After, everyone after.
And we can, we can do this for 6 months if we want to, and
Yeah, that
hopefully
was
the
my
new
question.
administrator can get on board and get up to speed and do the locates after that.
I think that's.
So we don't have to have a contract.
I can call the guy back
See, Jeff, I
and
think we're gonna get
Just
like
get more
3
specifics.
to 4 a day.
Okay.
I mean, it kind of fluctuates, but that's like 120.
3 or 4 a day,
Uh-huh.
5 days a week or 7 days a week.
5, I didn't think about that, 5, not 7. I did 30 instead of 7.
I get the end of day notification still on my phone because I can't figure out how to make it go away.
Oh, I don't think they go to anybody's phone.
So, and that's what, when Brian got with me on this, I said, I still get the end of day, but I always just delete them. So I went back and pulled up the last, couple weeks of deleted
Yeah.
ones that I had. And I mean, we've only had one oops ticket since he and I have been talking about this, and that's the one out here on Route 12.
well, 2, we had one at Legacy. Where they
Yeah, but
tearing up
we
the
was-
concrete, but we
We
were
was out of the
way
scope
out
of
of
the
the
work.
scope of
Maybe
it.
it's more, I'm thinking more summer then.
Yeah, I mean,
'Cause I've
during,
watched those
during
for
the
sure.
summer, during the summer, you're gonna probably get 1 or 2 a day, maybe. But I mean, that's still.
No,
if-
yeah,
if-
that's why
and
I'm
you're
just
not
curious
getting them
as what the
every
number
day,
was
so,
coming out.
I mean, I don't know. We used to have a stack at the end of the year about this thing, whatever. What did that be?
Well, we
a
get so
ream of
many that
paper?
are the
Papers,
same.
500.
Probably closer to the 250.
So you want me to just call South Shore and see if we can do a setup for 6 months and what that would cost us?
Did you ask him if we could do it month by month?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
I thought he told me he could do it locate by locate. I'll clarify all that,
Okay.
and then I'll get back to you guys.
So in the meantime, we need to, that's a good question.
Well, I think Jeff and I have kind of discussed it, that
We've been monitoring them. I guess we did have one out at Red Hawk, and I did call the contractor, and I did drive out there and look at it, and we was gonna be outside of the scope there as well.
That's
So
the other
we've
thing
been,
too.
we've been working together on it. If we have to do a locate, I guess somehow we'll get up here and we'll get the equipment and go out and do the job.
Yeah.
I have a question, Brian. We do get locates that aren't ours. What happens if they get a locate that isn't actually
Well,
ours?
we're all just on a ticket. So,
Right, so like, we definitely get ones that are like not on our roads at all.
well, generally.
Possibly. I mean, if you're in a grid, because that's kind of how it's all laid out, so if you're in that grid, you might get the locate. And like, and
But that's what I'm
now,
saying, are we gonna get charged for ones that aren't in our area? I mean, we've definitely gotten oopses, like, not every day or anything, but oopses that are not, they're just not us.
will they automatically come out
Well, they are,
and
yeah.
do that, do the loop, oops, or will they, do we have to, I thought you said something about having to call them and tell them to.
No, because Brian's saying this company will just get the oopses.
They will get the notifications.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can call, they have representatives, like most of these companies are Indiana,
Oh.
Michigan, but they have groups here.
Mhm.
So it'd be call them, have a guy come, maybe look at our maps, because they're not digitized, correct?
Right.
So kind of look at our maps and maybe get a feel for that.
It could be.
I do have some that are, maybe our water, I think I have.
They did come up and do some.
I mean, that stuff was all on a laptop computer when I was doing that locate stuff, so. I mean, we just went to the job and.
Oh, actually, I might have all that on that, iPad that Mark is using.
So, yeah, if we have something like that, I guess it'd be nice that they could upload that into their computer.
I'll call them and see if they can get a representative over here. We'll try to do that here in a quick fashion. So Carol was wanting to implement an office time clock. She
Yeah.
gave me the information last month. I'll let her speak to that.
I just think that we're hiring all these new people and coming in and out, that we gotta make them more, available to know what times they're using and stuff like that.
How many people we have right now?
Well, right now, we're trying to hire 2 more people, so. Just thinking
We are.
Aren't we?
Yeah.
Have we had any issues? People not coming in, should be coming? Who's gonna watch this? Like, who's gonna look at the time cards?
Well, I think the administrator will, wouldn't he? The assistant, or the administrator, or you, the mayor?
I would say is when we get an administrator, yeah.
Yeah. It's food for thought. We don't have to make a decision tonight, but I just think that it would be nice to have people be accountable how they spend their time, so.
Does this also run, I just said 2.4 gigahertz, but does it also work on the, I can't think, the Wi-Fi that we have here?
5 gigahertz.
Yes, the 5.
Yeah, I would think so.
Well, I don't know, some things only work on
2.68.
2.4 and some work on 5, and some won't go both ways.
Well, it says 2.4 gigs, so
Right,
that's
but we
less
have-
than 5, isn't it?
But we have 5 here in the office.
Okay, but I'm thinking if you're less, and you have more, I would think it would work, wouldn't it?
Not the
doesn't-
different
that's what I said,
frequencies,
that's
only
what you
certain
said.
antennas can
Sometimes
pick
it
up the
doesn't
different
interchange.
frequencies.
So the 2.4 is different than the 5?
Yes.
It's a different frequency. But a lot of modern routers will send out both signals, so you'd have to check your router to see you might have a 2.4 on there.
What is this costing?
$169.99.
How much
$169.99.
total, forever, or a month?
No monthly.
No monthly. It just, no monthly fee, just,
And that's for how many people? 2?
Oh, there's more than 2 work here. Come on. Isn't there? Besides the 2 administrators we're gonna hire, there's other people working in there.
Me and Jason both
Okay.
mostly, and
Okay.
Brett has been helping because
because we need help.
Plus you have.
he helps very little, is my
Will you,
point,
will
because
you
he
be
has a
having
full-time
any
job.
kids mowing the lawn and punching in and out for that, or not? For the summer help?
Yes.
Summer help?
That's my intention, yes.
We haven't done that for a while.
They step in. The routers do have the 2.4 and the 5 on them.
It's just a suggestion. It's just a suggestion.
So when Jason has to plow the streets, he has to come here and clock in? And then go plow the streets?
He's gotta come get the truck.
Okay, but
He
does he
does a
come in
water
here?
sample, he comes in here and does it.
I'm just asking.
I had a
How that works.
conversation with Jason about letting him know there's, talked about a time clock, and he said, I will punch in and I will punch out. I have no problem.
This village just seems to be made of money.
So, move it to hold.
Hopefully by then we'll have to know who's working.
And then moving on here to, it's also been suggested that we have 2 meetings a month.
Are we gonna pay our council members double if we have 2 meetings a month?
No, but we'll have to pay the solicitor.
That's a good idea. All the money we're spending, Jesus Christ.
We're a rich community.
Care.
Is there anything that can't be accomplished in 1 meeting?
Well, I personally don't like sitting here for 2.5 hours. I'd like to trim them down, discuss exactly what's on the agenda without all the side talk.
Good luck on that.
It's a good
It wouldn't be, it'd speed up and we would, I think, cover more ground, and it's not a permanent thing. I would think within 4, 5, maybe 6 months, go back to regular 1 meeting and special meetings if you need to.
I don't have a problem with it, but like I told everybody in the informational text, I said I have a lot of school commitments with my primary job that I have to check with an administrator to see if I can get administration approval to get out of, because I signed up for them a long time ago and I'm on a bunch of other committees for other things, so I need to know, because I blocked off what we say we're gonna do in January, and I block that out, and then I go from there, and then they say, hey, we need you to do this. Okay, I'm there.
So do you think it would be better then, Stephanie, to know that you've got 2 meetings coming up with council that you could schedule in your busy time?
I would need
Rather
to
than
know.
have a real quick one, you know what I mean? Call one in 48 hours?
Well, that would be helpful,
Okay,
but
that's what I was just asking.
that would be helpful, but it would be helpful if I would know at least a month and a half out, or
Okay.
2 months out, because, I mean, when school's done, I'm pretty open, but when school's in, like right now, it's getting crunch time, so,
Well, this was just brought up to me, and my suggestion on it was, you're not gonna have fiscal officer reports, any of that. We could pick one thing, like the water, the issues she has for backflow, and something else, and that would be the only, should be an in and out, kind of a quick deal. And then that's something we're moving forward with, and hopefully taking off the old business list.
If we had to read legislation,
Right.
we could
To
get
get
an
a
extra
third
reading in.
reading.
yeah. I'm not opposed to it, I just need to know, because
Well, if we would do it,
I jumped ship from one grade level to another one, and now it's all changed.
if we would do it, my suggestion would be the 2nd and 4th Mondays.
Would we need to have a solicitor here for, if we're doing 2 readings, would we need for the second one?
We shouldn't, not if we're
So
not
just only
discussing
the one
anything.
meeting?
It wouldn't cost us any more.
Does anybody have any issue if I look at my calendar for like, to see what the 2nd and 4th Monday would look like? It's on my phone, but I don't wanna get in trouble for looking at my phone.
You're gonna try to remove somebody from council if they can't make multiple second meetings?
That's it.
I'm out till May. It's tax season, there's no way. I'm booked out through April right now.
There
I have
are,
clients, there's
the way
no
I
way.
understand it, special circumstances. that
There's no way it's tax season.
Someone could be absent from a meeting as long as they report in advance. and the council basically approves that if Angel says, hey, I can't be here until March, May, whatever, for your second meeting.
Right, yeah, I have the first one all booked out, crossed off, but taxes take me out for
I
everything.
have to look into that, but
Working
I'm
7
pretty
days a
sure
week.
as long as there's a legit excuse, then it's basically okay, but it has to be, you just can't call in every second Monday and go, I'm sick, and you go make a meeting.
Right.
It has to be a legit reason.
Well,
So-
I looked and I have a couple of them open, but there's a couple of the things that I do have commitments already, so.
We can, you guys wanna move on with 2 meetings a month, and then, or would you rather wait till we get confirmation from Finelli? I don't foresee it being a problem. I don't know if anybody else does. I mean, you're not planning on missing every second meeting, correct?
No, I'm just saying, there's a couple of things, like, not this month, but next month and the month after that, I have events at school that we need to be at.
We could do that, just like she said, she has these commitments, we could just say, okay, she has these commitments, we know, like Andy said, is
I'm
her.
fine with that.
Okay.
That's fine.
Because I mean, and it is busy season, you're doing taxes, I get that.
I'm fine, as long as the council's fine.
And I mean, I know with tax season, people can't clear their calendars, that's her primary job.
But if you know ahead of time, you can work around that, correct?
Yeah,
Well, to the point
I will do everything in my power to work around it, I will talk to my administrator.
Angie cannot, because, I mean, it's her busy season.
Yeah.
She can't.
Okay.
So you guys are good with the fourth Monday? And keep it at 7? Alright, so move for a motion to go to a second meeting per month, being on the fourth Monday at 7 o'clock.
That, you realize that falls on holidays?
Memorial Day.
In May, that falls on Memorial Day.
Well, we can always
Well, I
move
said
the
it
meeting
was
up
May forever.
a week at that point. Or choose not to have it on a holiday.
It's
Or
only
should
to
we,
try to
or
catch
should
up on
we
everything.
choose something besides a Monday? Should we make it a Tuesday?
Sure.
You know, make it the fourth Tuesday.
Right.
I,
Does that help you with all stuff?
no, makes it worse. Tuesdays and Wednesdays are, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays are horrible. That's what I make my own days.
I don't know why we don't wait to see if these meetings get better. For another, I mean, it is the first.
Sounds like you're
year,
gonna
things
disenfranchise
change.
2 people if you go to 2 meetings right this second.
That's the goal.
I don't want this to sound bad. I think if we would stick to the 3-minute time limit with people talking and say, I'm sorry, but you need to move on. And we would stick to our agenda, like you said when you sent it out, you want to stick to the agenda. I think if
And
you
how well did that work?
This was a lot though too. It is.
That's-
It did get a little.
It's a lot.
That's a lot.
We did go, I mean, it's a long
That's
meeting,
a
but it
lot.
is a lot.
But I think if you stick to your agenda and you try and keep everybody on task and you say, you got 3 minutes and then we've got to move on and just keep it at that way, then
And we need to
maybe
stop the
it'll-
side banter.
Amy, can you send out the agenda in
I
a
haven't been
different
saying
form, because I
anything.
could not open that.
Yeah, I put it, yeah, I can do that.
Well, the problem is we do 2 meetings, and it's gonna be 2 hours long because we're not gonna be able to stop the game.
Because we're not gonna do
I mean, I don't wanna be up here twice a month, 2-3 hours each time.
No. And the reason why.
But how do you?
Are you saying like maybe try to manage?
I won't want it, that's all I'm thinking.
I would prefer one, but
I thought maybe if
We,
you thought the
we've never
meetings
had a
were a little
problem.
more organized.
Yeah,
you
we
will
had
do
2
it.
3 hour meetings once in a great while, but how many years have we ever done 2 meetings a month? Ever?
If you look at the minutes when I was elected in 2008, it was pretty much the whole year. We did 2
I don't
meetings.
remember.
It's in the minutes, and I do remember calling to them, only because everything was emergency, and I wanted to have second and third readings. So a lot of our second meetings were just to come up and do a second or third reading, or a second reading and then an emergency, because our next council meeting wasn't gonna satisfy the third reading. It was gonna have to be an emergency anyways, but at least we got 2.
Yeah, I thought that's when we would do the emergency meetings.
Well, it was just thrown out there. It was just something, food for thought.
Let's just see if we can
Can we
manage
just-
it
I was
another
saying,
month.
Can we
We'll
just?
look at it for a month or 2, and if we need to pull it in then, through the summer or something like that, then
Right.
we'll look
I
at
don't
it
have
again.
time for 2 meetings.
Because I think if we get to the agenda in the 3 minutes, it should be fine.
Get an egg timer.
It's not us anyways.
We had a timer.
They talk nonstop.
But it was Brian that
You
started.
guys.
So,
When Steph, when I was
Yeah,
mayor,
we're
you
same
had
as me.
myself and Brian.
I had a
both
timer on
that
my watch on my
timer.
phone, and I just set the timer, but he started the egg timer.
It was never a problem.
Maybe we can do an executive session sometime.
all right, move for motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Somebody go sit down,
Yeah,
Jeff.
hold on.
Where's everybody
Close the
going?
door. Need to air it out.
It's like we're sitting at the airport.
Angela second, I did.
So it takes 2.5 hours to get warmed up in
Yeah,
here.
yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Charlie, yes. Carol?
Yes.